What's going on, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Celly here live on our FTN YouTube page. Chris Meaney, Eric Young here hanging out with you for the next little bit, breaking down all things NHL related. We had a one-game slate on Monday, a one-game slate on Wednesday, all 32 teams in action on the Frozen Frenzy on Tuesday, which was awesome. I'm not going to lie.
It was cool.
Drop at midnight for me, the final one.
There's lots of things that I look at as a person that is in television, had television shows. The NHL, if it wants to be taken seriously, they're showing interviews of guys sitting in their cars on their phones. The shot of the war room was like so dark you could barely see Chris King. I mean, you can buy a ring light on Amazon for $20. It doesn't take that much work. It's just the production of a lot of it was cheap. Even the set the guys are on is cheap looking. It's much harder to do than the NFL. I get that because things are happening so fast and they're trying to go to games on power plays and like there's no guarantee that anything's even going to happen. It's a good effort, but it's not enough if you want people to take the sport seriously. And, you know, it's just like with wrestling for us, like diehard hockey fans like me and you and the people that watch the show are going to watch it regardless. But if you're trying to grow the game, like it's just the shot of Chris King was baffling. Like this brand new control. It's so poorly lit, you could barely see it. All you could see is this TV screens in the back. It could have been somebody's living room. And it was so dark, you couldn't see his face. It was awful, man. I mean, a lot of that stuff is just awful. They're interviewing Jack Eichel for 15 minutes while he's sitting in his car and we're looking at his nose hairs. Come on, man.
I didn't see that.
There's got to be somebody else available to talk. I don't know. It needs to be fixed.
I think they're trying, which is nice. It's not at all like some people have asked me how similar it is to red zone football. It's not at all like that. There's a couple moments where they show like all the games happening, and it's like 5 or 6, I think, at one point. But they're not jumping around like on red zone. It's just really the one broadcast on ESPN, and they switch over and roll through. But yeah, 16 games, 32 teams. There's a lot happening. A lighter slate here tonight with just the 9 games. And you take a look at the lines here. Everything available over at FTN Fantasy, Parlay Calculator, Prop Shop, 2 tools that are free. Save you a lot of time and save you a lot of cash. We have a couple of really appealing matchups here tonight. One in particular, the Rangers and the Panthers, which we'll get underway here in a second. And then I think Boston and Dallas is a good one as well. We got Berube facing his former team. And just like I said to you, man, classic Leafs just look like an unbelievable squad against Tampa, and then the very next night against the Blue Jackets. And again, credit to Troy's Blue Jackets. They're going to play hard. They've been playing hard all year long. But we do have a matchup in Toronto between the Blues and the Maple Leafs, and then a potential high-scoring game between the Red Wings and the Detroit or the New Jersey Devils, rather. I want to say what up to the crew, just as we always do. Adam Szymanski, Morning Fam. Let's go. One of our faves on the show, Ross Colton Day. I think every day may just be Ross Colton Day until at least like Lehkonen or Nichushkin get back into the lineup. Yes, Ross Colton again here today. Zane, morning fellas, what's going on, buddy? Our guy Jay Felicio in the house. Let's do that hockey. Anthony, welcome in. Let's go. Another good week. Eagles looked good. Eagles did look good. Big test this week in Cincinnati. If you are indeed talking about the Philly Eagles. Wakey, bakey, DFS hockey from the Garden City, Colorado. Let's go. Good times. Love that. McMichael, MVP on FanDuel and overlay life for a takedown last night. McMichael over 5 points, over 0.5 points, I would assume. Plus 140 ESPN bet. Yes. Cannabis and snacks money for days. Love it. Maybe one of my new favorite guys here in the chat. Sharks money line, which is interesting. Very interesting. Troy in the house. What are your thoughts on sprinkling Sanderson and Werenski for Norris? I mean, I think they're good long shot bets, but I'd be pretty shocked if either one of those guys won the Norris. I know Werenski's eating up a lot of ice time and he's going to have some minutes, but Sanderson breakout is for real. You know, I on Tuesday I had the point prop there, and it didn't happen, but he was in the breakout candidate in the fantasy hockey draft kit. I'm a believer in him. I like both of these guys, but I just don't think that Norris would be in play there. But value, you know, there's something to be said about making some of those bets where the number will come down and, you know, in a couple months or whatever, maybe you'll have a cash out option. It was really fun to see the end of the game, then switch to the next game to see the last few minutes of that and so on and forth. Yeah, I agree. Like every 15 minutes, there's a puck drop. So that's the NHL should do that
should
more
be
often.
Like that every night.
Not 16 games, but like, why do they all need to start at 7 and then they all start at 8 or whatever? Like, they should stagger them so that there's always some game on instead of, wow, there's 4 in intermission and you're just kind of hanging around. So they need to do a better job of,
I know the argument's always going to be it's maybe the only gate driven league left, right? Like it's all about the live experience, and they make, you know, a lot of the money is based on ticket sales and people being there. Look, the NFL would be financially dominant even if no one even went to the games, right? Like, I mean, it's just how much money they make on the TV rights. NHL is not in that category, not even in that stratosphere. They're in another galaxy far, far away. But I mean, if, you know, playing game here, if the game starts at 7 or 7:15, 15 minutes, what's the difference? I know a lot of people go, oh, people have kids and they this, that, and the other. It's like, come on. I mean, at 15-minute, you know, they can easily do it. Game starting at, I mean, man, in some places, 5, you know, on the East Coast, 5:30, you know, whatever, 5:30, then 5:45, 6, 6:15, 6:30, 6:45, 7, set. Like it should definitely be that way. I don't think it ever will be, but it was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. How about the Capitals, eh? Like this team, I did a video with Griff Dog here at FTN. And we were talking about the Capitals, like the new pieces that they brought in defensively, like some underrated like Chikrin and Waugh and things like that. And they're playing pretty good hockey. Rattled off another win last night. 5-1, Flames 5-0-1, Rangers 5-0-1, Minnesota 4-0-2. And I just brought that up because Troy asks, are the Wild actually good or is this fluky? I think they're solid. I had them missing the playoffs. It looks like a bad call at the moment, but there's still a lot of hockey left. And as long as, you know, Kaprizov and Boldy stay healthy, get that breakout maybe from Marco Rossi, they'll hang around. But if anything happens to one of their guys inside the top 6, you know, Eriksson Ek missed a little bit of time. They're fine. Yeah, I think they're kind of in trouble. They're like a 1.5 line team there. Okay, we want to get into tonight. Troy's want to take a shot at you, and I get it. No, he's actually giving you credit. EY, you're right about the Blue Jackets' bottom 6 forwards are competent and hard to play against. They absolutely walked the Maple Leafs like dogs the other night. They did. We'll get into that. If Ross Colton continues this hot play, I don't see him getting taken off that line. Avs know they have depth issue and can get Lekin and Nichushkin on other lines. They'll rotate through some guys. I do agree with you. I think ideally they probably want to have Lehkonen with McKinnon. He's such a smart two-way hockey player, and it works really well for them. But yeah, they're so thin on the bottom 6 that they could put Colton there, and you know they're gonna have to have somebody in center, and Colton can play center. Like maybe he's centering. They got Middlestat there. There's some things that they can do. I agree here. Like, you know, if Nichushkin's healthy and Landeskog ever comes back, he'll miss his time on the power play. Flames and Utah money line value there. Makar, last to check, he was leading the NHL in points, so he's certainly up at the top of the Calder Trophy odds as always. Chinnikov getting robbed on the goal line. Yeah, we needed a point from him. How do they score 6-7 goals and he doesn't get a point? My goodness. How about Gostisbehere? #rise up. Yeah, back in Carolina and running the point in the power play. Brent Burns we talked about as a drop. Yes, we had your boy Griff on there as well. Meet of the Madman. Good morning, John Prince. Okay, 10 minutes in. Let's get after it. Rangers and Panthers MSG. One thing we certainly got right on Tuesday was that the Rangers were going to take care of the Montreal Canadiens. We had the 2 units on the in 60 play and the unit on the puck line. got Panarin shots, but it was everybody else who was scoring in that game, and that's part of why the Rangers are so good, right? They got the depth up and down the lineup, in Hedl scoring, and we know that the Trocheck line is fantastic. Mika always owns the Habs, but now they got a tough matchup here at home against the Panthers. Still no Barkov for tonight, which I think
Dude can't stay healthy, man.
Unfortunately, man.
He's always out. It's crazy how often this happens.
Yeah, it is. So New York has essentially been perfect so far this season. You know, the 6-0 victory to start. They lost 6-5 to Utah, 4-1 Detroit, 5-2 Detroit, 4-1 Leafs, and then crushed the Habs 7-2. Back at home here now for a couple games to get the Ducks here over the weekend. I like them tonight. I'm a fan of the Panthers, but I think we'll see some regression from them overall. You know, the defense, they're missing a couple guys defensively. They're without their best two-way forward in Barkov tonight. Bennett's been fantastic. Anton Lundell's been fantastic filling in. But this Rangers team is just clicking right now. And if Igor is in between the pipes, it's hard not to back them. -150 on the money line if you want to back the Panthers, +130. And then the total here is at 5.5. So a low total, of course, with Bob likely and Igor likely as well. What do you got? What do you like?
I'm going Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk for the Florida Panthers. And on the New York side, I'm going back to Panarin and Kreider. Kreider hasn't really got going yet, but look, he's scoring, 20, 30 goals every season for what seems like forever. And he'll get it right. I love Chris Kreider.
Yeah, he'll get going. Mika looked pretty good the other day. Lafreniere point. I'm always doing this. Didn't work out the other day. He hit the bar. I think the Rangers could have had 11 goals if they didn't hit, the post like 5 times. -130 for a point at BetMGM for Lafreniere. The assist is interesting at +190. Panarin's been the shooter. We talked about this on Tuesday. He's been shooting the puck, and he's the trigger man on the power play. He's at +110 for 4 shots. It's a little high. Mika's been shooting as well. He's -105 for 3 shots tonight. He's +205 for a power play point. On the Florida side, the guy that's really been the best player for them is Sam Bennett, right? Bet Rivers is hanging -130 for 3 shots for Bennett. I can get behind that number. I can't get behind the -161 over at Caesars for 3 shots on goal, but I want to stay away from some of the points. But I will say you probably have a couple more days of riding this thing out with Anton Lundell. I have him in one fantasy hockey league. Again, at some point, Barkov will come back and Lundell will lose his spot up at the top line, but he's +100 over at DraftKings if you want to back him for a point here tonight. For the Red Bull and cannabis fun. Poe Degen Stoner. You're killing me here today. I love it. Smash the like button, you filthy animals. Love it. Let's go. Great hockey game, but not seeing a ton of props to bet on in this one. Drop some more likes, wake up. I want to shout you guys out. You really have done a solid job of
crushing it.
And liking and subscribe. Right now it's pretty much our most watched show over at FTN, and that's good to show the bosses that there are some people that care about hockey here. All right, who do you think wins the game?
I'm going to go Rangers at home. It's just a guy look, Florida's looked like the defending Stanley Cup champions, right? The first game, I think not maybe us, but a lot of people were like, it's a lot of hockey. They're missing some players. The Montour's gone. What's going to happen with their defense? Bobrovsky's older, this, that, and the other. Florida's looked great. It was really cool to see Maurice get, sign an extension. One of my favorite coaches in the league, could listen to him talk all day. They're awesome. Happy for Florida. But I think New York Rangers win this game tonight.
Sam Bennett has at least 3 shots in 7 of his 8 games, and he's had at least 4 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So he is shooting, looking pretty good here to start. Off to a really good start, 5 goals and 3 assists for
telltale sign of a great team, right? He's slotted to play on their third line, and Barkov goes out and he slides up Lundell plays on the top line, Bennett plays center on the top power play, and they just don't miss the beat. This is what good teams do.
Absolutely. All right, next game is in Tampa Bay. We have the Minnesota Wild, as we discussed, racking up some W's. And then we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. How about Jake Gensel the other night? I think he had 8 shots after 2 periods. This is wild. I was talking about maybe Jake Allen holding down the net a little bit, and then you got shelled. 8-5 victory by Tampa. Tampa's played to the over in 4 straight games here, 4-3, 5-4, 5-2, and then 8-5. Nikita Kucherov continues to do his thing. I mean, 12 points in 6 games is just ludicrous start, picking up where he left off last year. I'm kicking myself, man. I picked Draisaitl over him. I just shouldn't have. I knew that Kucherov had a higher ceiling, but anyways, Kucherov 4 points. Then he gets 1 point and 2, 1, and then 2. So he's clicking. I kind of feel like I like the Bolts here tonight. But I don't feel too strong about it at that number. Where are you at? You going to Kucherov, you going to Point, Hagel's coming off a Hattie. There's some options here to score some goals.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Kucherov. He's unbelievable, and we called it on Tuesday. Hagel, he's looked great. He's playing, almost in like a, on the point in the power play is a shooter. We saw him score. Not a ton of goals are going to go in from the blue line for him, but he's been an important player for him, and he's been great this year. So I'm sticking with Hagel when he's hot. On the other side, I'm going with the usual suspects: Kaprizov and Eric.
Yeah, hard to argue. Kucherov, I kind of want to get involved with the 3.5 shots. He's been around 3, but I think I'll drink a little bit of juice on Gensel. I saw a decent that number's gone. So minus 175 is the best I'm seeing. Hedman we touched on, I think, last week. Even for the point is now a little bit juiced. I thought I saw minus 145 last night. Plus 100 at Bet Rivers for 3 shots. Caesars is minus 127 for 3 shots. Hedman was discussed at length, stoner guy with your guy Griff, and I think we chatted about him too. With Sergachev gone, Hedman goes back to just being an alpha defenseman. And he's been shooting, and he's got 8 points in 6 games. He's coming off a game where he has 2 goals. The ice time, 22, 24, 25, 24, 22. Like, he's back to being a top defenseman in fantasy hockey. And his price is adjusted on DraftKings as well. Makar's up at the top at 8.5. Uyghur's at 6.6. Hedman's at 6.5. Dougie Hamilton at 6.4. Fox at 6.3. Morrissey and Anderson round out the guys that are 6K and above. I think Hedman's worth the price. Probably like Hamilton a little bit more in a high scoring game, but from a DraftKings standpoint, Hedman's averaging 18.7 fantasy points per game, which is number 2 behind Rasmus Anderson, who's had a really good start, and as the Flames have as well. So I think Victor Hedman is in play for 3 shots if you want to go that way. I think the Bolts win the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if the over does hit. Hedman's been hitting his Wheaties. Marco Rossi, 3 goals in 3 straight. Yeah, Marco Rossi is he's a good little player.
Yeah, good to see.
Top pick. Yeah, it's good to see. He's gone through a lot of things off the ice in his career, and it is good to see that he's back. And it's a good call, Zane. And if you just want to get involved with the point, he's plus 115. He's plus 115 for a point. He's plus 350 for a goal. He's 23-1 for the first goal. He's plus 230 for an apple tonight as well. And he continues to play with the guys that you want him to play with, right? A beautiful setup the other night from Kaprizov to Marco Rossi backdoor. He's actually got points in 5 straight games. He's shooting a little bit too. His shot props at 1.5. He's had at least a shot in all 6 games, and he's had at least 3 shots in 3 of his past 5. So he continues to trend up, and I'm seeing his ownership jump up a little bit there in Yahoo as well. Szymanski's on it as well. That is Hedman over 2.5 shots plus 100. One of his favorite bets tonight. Yes, he had 8 shots in the first period. Was it the first? I thought Yahoo had an error. I thought it was the second. He was shooting. I think, he may be in play. I'll write him down here. Maybe we can get some sort of like fun parlay at the end, 2.5. But we'll go Hedman, 2.5. I do have the lean to Kucherov. And I think Zane's on to something with Marco Rossi point. So ride this one out. 5-game point streak, plus money for a point. Playing with the big boys. You can get behind that. All right. Blues and Leafs. Berube against his former squad. One thing I've noticed before you take it away is I wanted to put this in. There was just so much happening on Tuesday with 32 games and 16 games. I'm like, I can't do it. But Matthew Knies was 1.5 shots. And I was kicking myself because he had been shooting and he ended up with 5. He's had at least 2 shots in 6 of his 7 games. He's got 3 goals. He's got points in 4 of 5. Of course, Matthews is the shooter on that line, but the line is going to always get scoring chances here and there. But now the Matthew Knies 1.5 shot props just gone. It's plus 150 for 3. Of course, you can always do some alternate stuff, but I think he's interesting for a point tonight. Just playing with those big boys, trying to find some value on the board at plus 110 for a Matthew Knies point, I think is worth it. So I'm going to roll with him. What do you got? You're rocking the Dougie Gilmour. Is that the Dougie Gilmour or Wendell Clark jersey?
No, it's actually Austin Matthews, and
okay,
he's my lock of the night to score. A little foreshadowing to the end of the show. I believe Berube will be motivated here. Look, I know that he doesn't play, but this will be important for him. Toronto's at home. Matthews and Nylander to score. St. Louis side, I'm going Kyrou and Neighbors. Neighbors is a guy that I had all over the place. He had a really slow start, so I kind of moved away from him in a couple of my season-long leagues, but it looks like he's starting to show up again, playing a lot of important minutes for them. It's more wishful thinking. I think Toronto wins this just because I need them to bounce back. Hat off to Troy and to you. You guys called it. They got manhandled by the Columbus Blue Jackets, and
this is what they do. They beat good teams,
I know this is what they do. But
it's hope you would think that it would change, right? And that's the thing. Like, you're bringing in a guy to try to make this different. It's just one game, and it's the second half of a back-to-back, and it's on the road, and it's after emotional win. These things happen across the league, but it just seems to happen more to the Leafs than anybody else, and that's we'll see. If this year goes the same way, then the core will be split up. But I like him tonight too. Anybody else is going to score? You got Matthews as a lock. Neighbors.
Matthews and Nylander, Kyrou and Neighbors.
Okay. The Blues are going to have to shuffle their lines a little bit. You're correct here, Zane, with Robert Thomas out for a while. I believe it's a fractured ankle. I think he's been placed on IR, and he's out for, I would say, at least 6 weeks, could be longer for him. So, that does mean extra ice time for guys like Jordan Kyrou, guys like Jake Neighbors. I want to get involved with Neighbors. Kyrou has been the guy that's been shooting. Him and Braden Shen lead the team in shots. Braden Shen is kind of a sneaky fantasy player here and there. I can't get involved with him, but Kyrou, I don't know. Kyrou's probably at 3.5, so probably can't do that either. At 2.5, he's juiced, right? So you could maybe do the 2.5 with Jake Gensel, Jordan Kyrou. What's Neighbors? What's his odds to score? It's probably pretty good.
Oh, geez. I didn't write him down.
That's plus 330. Plus 330.
For a guy that's playing top 6 and on the top power play, like, eat it up.
Yeah, he's plus 130 for a point. Bet Rivers is okay, I think, at over 1.5 shots. I can get behind that one. He'll probably have a couple shot attempts tonight. I mean, he's had two shots in 4 straight games. That's the best price I'm seeing on him. Bet Rivers, other books, minus 166. So, like, Neighbors is a guy that you can put in the shot prop parlay as well with, like, Gensel. But I'll take that over at Bet Rivers, minus 150. 2 shots for neighbors. I think the Leafs win too. I think they bounce back. Braden Shen will help all your categories, but demolish your plus minus for sure. Also, don't play with plus minus. Just eliminate that silly stat. I know I'm not coming at you, Zane, but we all know that that's a silly stat. Yeah, he's one of those guys that can be sneaky in leagues with like hits and face-off wins. He does some stuff. He's a very streaky player, but not off to the best start here, although he's shooting the puck. All right, Dallas and Boston. We talked about that line being fishy, man. Vegas just knows. They just know what's going on. And your Preds took care of the Bruins and didn't really seem like a competition. What did you see? You just saw like a tighter defensive game from Nashville in that game? You know, they had been playing a little loose.
Yeah. I mean, much tighter and, you know, just not getting too cute. You know, Boston's not a team that you want to do that with. North-south. And I know that sounds... I mean, it's just like it can be kind of sound like a cop-out answer of like north-south hockey, get it in, possess it, grind guys, you know, get people in front of the net. They were making an effort to do that. A couple of their goals were just kind of like scrambles and, you know, had enough bodies in front of the net, kind of whacking at it. So it's all teams need to be able to do this. And I feel like, you know, they're maybe buying into the hype and, you know, they got a bunch of skill and, you know, like, you know, guys coming in from other teams that are first ballot Hall of Famers and this, that, and the other. But in the end, you still got to play, you know, a tough brand of hockey. And they started to do that. They still, like, the lines are like all over the place. There's no guessing who's going to play where. Novak.
They're still trying to get chemistry with some of those guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, it you know, they've had one training camp. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they played together for 6 years, so it will take time. But I feel like that's a really good step in the right direction. Those played really well. Thought it will go a long ways for his confidence. Plus, I mean, if you can beat the Boston Bruins, you can beat anybody. They're still a great team. So yeah, it was good to see. Happy for them, and you know, it's a big deal. I think with Boston. Our guy Pavel Zacha has looked pretty good. So I'm going Pasta and Pavel Zacha. He's playing on that top power play, which is not something that I thought I'd say, but that's the truth. And in Dallas, I'm going Hintz and Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah, again with the Dallas lines, man. DeBoer put Wyatt Johnson on the first line in the third period, and
they're starting to get some power play.
Yeah, I like his shot prop, even it's the Bruins. I like the Stars tonight. We were on them Tuesday, didn't get it right, but like I said before, I'm going to take this team more times than not, especially when I get a good number for them being on the road. So I think I saw last night minus 120. I don't think it's moved too much. Minus 118 now over at Bet Rivers. For the Dallas Stars. Tyler Seguin returned in the last game, and he had a couple goals. There's a couple late goals for Tyler Seguin. What is his numbers here? So he's got 3 goals in the season. Oh, they only gave him 1? I thought he had both of those goals. Anyways, not on Sagan, but I think the process does remain the same with like the value on Rupe Hintz, even though it didn't work out. Sometimes I'll give a play and I feel like it's the process is right. Don't get it. And then all of a sudden, you know, the next time out, you know, the guy hits. So first line, first power play, minus 130 for a point. I can get behind that. And even Wyatt for a point is minus 140. I think the Stars win the game. I got nothing really on the Boston side. One thing I did notice in the last game is that I think they're trying to get Marchand going. They're looking like a one-line team at the moment. Have you seen like it really, when you look at Boston's line?
Marchand was invisible in the Nashville game. I mean, I didn't notice him once.
Like, dude, this is their second line. Max Jones, Charlie Coyle, Trent Frederick. That team's going to compete for a Stanley Cup? No shot. No shot. I mean, I know that the Leafs, they find a way to beat the Leafs, but the Leafs are better than them. They're deeper than them. Florida's deeper. New Jersey, the Rangers, the Lightning. There's multiple teams. I can keep going. Carolina. Like, I think the Bruins are in trouble. Like, they're going to be competitive and hang around, and Swayman's going to do what he can, but When you stack your top line with Marchand, Lindholm, Pasternak, your bottom six is brutal. They got Zach on the third line with Morgan Geekie there. So I was going to stay away from the Bruins. I saw Marchand shot prop at 1.5 the other day. I was like, wow, that's pretty low. And I don't even know if he hit it. I just know he wasn't doing too much with Lindholm and Pasta. So I like Dallas Stars. I think they're a deeper hockey team here. Yeah, Tanev, I think he's got 3 blocks in every game but one, and that's what he does. He blocks shots. He plays against the team's top players. Yeah, he's a savage. He's a good defensive player. Love it. Okay, no Lindholm point. I know. I've been doing it every day, haven't I?
Yeah.
Should I? I don't know, man. Like, if Boston scores a goal and it's on the power play, he's probably in on it, and the odds are still really good. I'll write it down on the board, Zane, just for you. Just for you. I have been doing it. I'm trying to get some winners. My thinking is that Jake Ottinger's just been so damn awesome that maybe Boston doesn't even score a goal. But let's be real about, again, the process. This is a first-line center playing with Pasternak, their best shooter, and Marchand. He's on their top power play. He kills penalties. He plays in all situations. The Bruins are so thin. The process does seem right at plus 105 for DraftKings. Away you go. Okay. Just for you there. All right. New Jersey and Detroit, 31-minute mark. I think we'll see some goals here. I put the over 6.5. And what I've seen from the Devils so far this season is that maybe they're just going to allow a lot of goals again this year. Like, are they going to continue to play this way, up and down, not getting the goaltending? It's something that they've tried to figure out. But look at these last couple of games, like 8-5, 6-5, 5. There's a 5-3. They haven't played to the over as much as I thought. But the last couple of games, I mean, 13 and 11 goals. And I know Detroit was a slow starter. We talked about holding Patrick Kane. He scored the other night. But they played into some overs too, like 9 goals in their opener against your Preds, 7 goals against the Islanders. They're not going to score too much, but the Rangers, it was a 5-2 game as well. So I think we'll see some goals scored in this game, and you are the goal scorer caller on the show. I want to go back to Timo Meier before you say who you like. But Timo is a guy we talked about in the first week. We're just like, man, this just looks just different, right? He's got 40, 50 goal potential. He's got 4 goals so far, 9 points. He had gone a few games without a goal, but he had been shooting the puck quite a bit. 5 shots and 2 goals the other night. He enters on a 3-game point streak. He's got 6 points over that span. Still not playing a ton. Like 14 minutes is not enough. Like, there's games, I look at the back of the hockey here, like 14, 15, 14. It's not enough. Like, he's got to be up in the 17, 18 minute range. The first 3 games, great. 18, 19, 22. I'm like, okay, here we go. This guy's going to play, like the usage he had in San Jose. And then, he gets back into the 14-minute range. So I can't wrap my head around that, but we've been taking him pretty consistently for a point, and I like him tonight. Hit the score sheet. What do you got?
Yeah, I got him down too, and Jack Hughes as well. Got my copy of NHL 25. So,
PS or Xbox?
PS5. I was an Xbox guy forever, and then for whatever reason, it was $200 more, and I'm like, they're the same thing, so I'm not paying the $200 extra to say I have an Xbox, so now I have a PlayStation, and yeah, I'll be lost in the ether of that for several hours today, I would imagine. The Detroit side, Dylan Larkin, my man. I want the Rings to be better. The NHL is better when the Wings are good. My wife is from Michigan. Her entire family are Detroit Red Wings fans, and I'm tired of them being depressed. Get your you-know-what together. Let's go. And I'm going back to Patrick Kane. I said that he would score on Tuesday, and he did, and I'm sticking with it. Still a really good hockey player.
Sheldon Keefe hockey baby.
Yep.
I think he may win coach of the year. Just like, he's a good coach. I think he's been outsmarted in the playoffs when it matters by other coaches. But if the Devils make the playoffs and flirt with 50 wins after last year, he may get it.
Yeah, he could.
This is almost off Granlund, but he kept same. The night on Tuesday was kind of rocky. I think the article went 3 for 4, and we'll have an article again today over at ftnfantasy.com. But late last night, I was like, man, Granlund sitting there at plus 140 for 3 shots. I got to do it. And it did work out. So that's another guy that I may just bet every day because the usage is high. But he's also a pass first guy, but I think he has no point. It's like there's nobody there. And sometimes he just has to press it to shoot the puck. Caleb checks in. Luke Hughes may be back. It does sound like he is going to be back tonight for the Devils and make his season debut. So I still think like Dougie's the guy there. There was a lot of power play minutes for Luke with Dougie's sideline. He still gets some power play time, but that's a nice boost there to the squad. So yeah, Timo for me. Is there any value for points on the Detroit side of things? Because I mean, I'm on the over. I think we're going to see some goals. Let me just take a look at DK here.
I mean,
quickly.
Neither team has been interested in playing defense or good goaltending. So, I mean, it could be wild.
Like Hamilton's minus 110 for a point. DeBrincat's minus 140 for a point on DraftKings. Timo's minus 145. I'm in on that one. Dawson Mercer at plus 135. Like he burned us the other night, but he's still playing up on that top line. What if the Red Wings have shuffled their lines around a little bit? So they got DeBrincat back up there. Like that's where he needs to be. Playing next to Larkin and playing on the first power play. I'm gonna jump on that one. It blows my mind when I see DeBrincat on a second power play. Like, shouldn't he be? Is he not good enough as a shooter to be on that first power play? I'm kind of interested in his shots too. DeBrincat night, guys. Minus 135, 3 shots. Timo and DeBrincat, my guys here in this game. I think they both score, but I drink a little bit of juice on the point. Minus 140 for a point, minus 145. Yeah, Dougie Fresh. Hamilton, man, minus 105 for a point. How about 3-1 for a power play point, right? Like that's pretty good odds for Dougie.
Yep.
Plus 300 for a power play point.
Such an underrated player. I mean, I know like he didn't play last year, so you can quickly forget. But like when he plays, he just generates so much from the back end. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I was looking at, I have the numbers here from Natural Stat Trick. These are the guys who lead the NHL in shot attempts. The top 10 guys I'll rattle off at 5-5. Austin Matthews, of course, 49. Brendan Montour, our guy. We continue to talk about him and take all of his props. Evan Bouchard, Quinn Hughes, Jeff Skinner is shooting quite a bit. Matthias Ekholm, and then Dougie Hamilton, Sam Bennett, Anthony Beauvillier, Tage Thompson.
Oh man, did we ever
10.
eating our coal on that one? Oh yikes!
I didn't even like inside the top 15.
Like, I was just like picking a random name. Yeah. He scored 2 goals, made me look like a dickhead.
All right, Carolina and Calgary here. Carolina, big come from behind victory the other night in Edmonton. That was an entertaining overtime game. Sebastian Aho there. Man, Natchez, right? We've talked so many times about Natchez. Sometimes this guy looks like the best player on the planet, honestly. Like he's flying all over the ice with a ton of speed and confidence. He's spinoramas. By the way, I also have NHL 25. The better half hooked it up for the birthday. Also PS5. So you and I are going to have some sort of battle. Habs and Preds. NHL 25 battle. But for tonight, Hurricanes and Flames. I kind of feel like Carolina's going to go in there and win the hockey game tonight, but man, I wish I jumped on it last night. I saw like minus 156. The best number I'm seeing now is minus 179, where the Flames actually, from a value standpoint, they may be interesting at plus 150 for how good they're playing. Where are you at in this game? What do you like?
I'm going Fetch and Netcash. You're right. I mean, like, if you remember that playoff run, like, was it last year or the year before? Like, he was just dominant. I mean, like, crazy speed, unbelievable skater, unbelievable shooter, big body. You know, he's just got, if you were to create a hockey player in the lab, you'd look at Marty Netchez. Just sometimes he doesn't show up. I think he shows up tonight. The bet on Calgary not being very good, I mean, like you said, doesn't doesn't seem like that's a great call at this point, but I don't think they're a great team. But
I'm not
I like
buying.
when they're going to be competitive. I'm not buying it either, but I'm going Kadri and Connor Zary. Score.
Yeah, I like it. Svesh's juice, he could be in that shot prop parlay. Like him and Gensel's something that I may do tonight. He's minus 165. He's been shooting the puck, leads the team in shots at 21, 4, 8, and 3 over his last couple. He had 5 in the opener. Sebastian Aho is the guy. Like he had 9 shots against the Oilers the other night, and he's not a huge shooter, but he'll take over when he needs to. He enters on a 4-game point streak. He's got multi-point games in back-to-back. Like that's the guy. Like if you're getting involved with Carolina tonight at all, I think you want to have Sebastian Aho in there. Shane Gostisbehere has been brought up here on this show. He's got goals in 4 straight games. He's been playing on the top power play, and he's got points on the power play in 3 straight games as well. So his shot prop is just 1.5. We're just looking for 2 shots from Ghost here tonight at minus 154 over at DK. And I think the point prop, I mean, plus 115 is not too shabby. That's over at BetMGM. And there's another guy like Dougie Hamilton who's plus 300 for a power play point. The Flames have been playing good, man. Like they're getting goaltending. I'm not a huge believer in them keeping this thing up. But they are hot right now. If you're looking for a dog, and especially somebody at home, you can get plus 150. I kind of have a lean to the under 6. Like I don't feel like there'll be a ton of goals. Carolina, can kind of keep the puck out of their net. Pretty stingy at 5-5, and the Flames are getting some good goaltending there. So there we go. Is it Lyon? Devil's advocate. Well, not really. If Alex Lyon is playing, he's been absolutely on one. He has been. They need to figure it out, right? I think they'll ride the hot hand there. They'll figure. I don't know if they'll figure it out, but they'll probably ride the hot hand. All right, a couple more. We got to get out of here. Let's go Colorado and Utah. What do you got for this one, other than Ross Colton, who we know that we're on?
Yeah. I mean, that's the obvious one. Another thing I would say, watched a little bit of their game the other day, and Casey Middlestat has looked pretty good. He's playing on the top power play. Like him. Of course, I'm going McKinnon. On the Utah side, I'm going to the usual suspects. Keller. I don't think Arizona or Utah has played in the last couple of years where I haven't bet on Keller to score because he is everything for that team. And it's nice to have another guy in Dylan Guenther, and he's just been awesome. So I'm going Keller and Guenther.
Love it. McKinnon's plus money. He hasn't been shooting as much. I mean, the attempts are there. They're just not really hitting the net. But anytime you can get McKinnon, I know it's 5 shots, but plus 105 at Bet Rivers is interesting. I think we'll see some goals, in this game tonight. Just Utah hasn't been giving it up like the shot attempts and the scoring chances, but they haven't really been getting the goaltending. I don't know who's gonna play for them between the pipes because Joey Decord has not been not Decord. Who am I thinking of? Who's gonna be between the pipes tonight? Are they gonna go to I think they'll go to Vejmelka because Connor Ingram has been really bad. And he's gotten every start but one. Oh, he's been
Ingram
brutal.
is projected, but it hasn't been confirmed.
He's got an 861 save percentage. He's allowed 4 goals, at least 4 goals in 4 of his last 5. It's really hard to back him. And at the same time, the Avs have been, they've been a touch better in the past couple games, but I still don't really believe ultimately in their goaltending. So I feel like this is a game that we could see some offense here. We could see some goals scored. I think it's a good, game maybe to stack in DFS. Guenther, again, it's a Guenther show. 3 shots is minus 130 for him over at Bet Rivers. For him to pick up a point, it's minus 110. So yeah, Ross Colton is minus 135 for a point. He's around minus 136 for 3 shots. And, Cale Makar he's just kind of taken over. If you want to get involved with Makar, he's plus 130 for 2 points tonight. Cale Makar, he's got 14 points in 7 games. He's got, look at his last few games, 2-3-1, 3-1, 2-2. So if you're looking for some sort of, plus money play tonight, Makar 2.9 plus 135 for a defenseman. That's what we're doing. It's not too bad. What do you think? Who wins the game? I mean, is Utah interesting to you at home as dogs, or do you think the Avs have kind of figured this thing out?
I think they're interesting. I think just until they can figure out the goaltending. I mean, I say that, but Colorado's goaltending situation is brutal too. You know what? I mean, screw it. I'm going Utah at home tonight. Keller leading the way. I think until Colorado figures out their goaltending situation, I can't trust them.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at too. Sergachev has been playing so much. Finally 3 and 4 shots in the past couple games, 28, 27, 28, 28 minutes. With Sean Durzee's sideline, he'll probably continue to eat up a lot of minutes. I was gonna take a look at his numbers. Shot props at 1.5, but it's just too juiced. Anybody else feel me on the over? Like, we can see some goals here tonight. I think so. Over 6.5 minus 110. Just given what we talked about with the goaltending, and I think we see some sort of switch. I don't know if they could actually continue to go to what they've been doing. Yeah, Ingram. Yes, thank you guys. Hayton over point minus 105 ESPN. A little Hedman Hamilton Makar parlay doesn't sound too bad. What about Kyle Connor over 0.5 points? Yeah, sure. That's probably off the top of my head as we go there. Winnipeg and Seattle. It's a Kyle Connor show. You're probably on him to score, correct?
I am. Yeah, Connor and Ehlers on the Winnipeg side. Seattle's been brutal. I think Winnipeg continues their winning ways. I mean, I can't believe this is the Winnipeg Jets. Seattle side, I'm going McCann and Beniers.
I'm not going to take anything on Seattle's side. Just with Hellebuck, they don't give up a whole lot. Man, Chandler Stevenson the other night for a point. He had so many chances against the Avs. He had a partial breakaway at the very end of the game. I thought he was going to do it for us. I mean, he's been noticeable. He's not a big shooter, but he's been noticeable up on that top line with McCann. Like, if I'm going to take anyone to score or get a point tonight, it would be like either McCann or Chandler Stevenson. I do like the play here, Kyle Connor for a point. It's just as a single bet at minus 200, it's not ideal. But maybe you can put that into a parlay, or if that's something that you want to do, just know that minus 200 is, it's a steep price to pay just as like a single bet. But I like where your head's at for Kyle Connor. I mean, he's got a point in every game, right? So he's got 5 goals, so a point in every game. No, we're not. The number is getting a little bit out of hand, but we're not off of it. It's a good call to bring it up. Minus 172 at Caesars. Like, again, this is we had plus 150 for the first week and a half. The best number I'm seeing on Montour is minus 143. No, we shouldn't be off of it. The ice time and the usages there just highlighted the shot attempts through the roof for him. So I like it. Again, minus 143 I'd bet as a single. Minus 160 at DraftKings is kind of pushing it for me. But maybe we can put him into, yeah, man, it's getting bad. I think we're all betting it, and then it's hitting, and it's just getting bad. But I think you could put him into like the parlay with Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel, that works. All right, final game of the night. SJ Sharkey and the LA Kings. Massive favorites, the Kings. So something that we talk about sometimes on the show is like that first game at home after a long road trip. And that's how LA started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games on the road. They got spanked against Vegas on Tuesday. They were kind of in their area for the last couple of games against the Ducks and against the Golden Knights. So the old saying would go, maybe flat. Maybe you jump on the Sharks here as an upset. I don't really think I have the stones to do it. I have backed the SJ Sharkies already this year, and I'm into some dogs, especially, you know, in the NHL, anything can happen. You can get San Jose at plus 260 to win a hockey game. But my goodness, I've actually watched all of their games, and they're bad. They're really bad. I mean, the Ducks have taken it to them a couple times, and the Ducks have a little bit more skill up front than San Jose, but the Sharks are bad. They have a lot of issues. It's going to be another long season for them. They're basically one line, and I like Tyler Toffoli, but he is slow as molasses out there. So I may go against my rule here, and I think that the Kings may win this thing. And I'm kind of debating on maybe taking them on the puck line to win by a couple. And I know I'll have to probably sweat that one out, but I got the confidence in them being the better team here tonight, the deeper team. And even if they are a little sluggish, I think that they'll find a way to win the game, maybe 3-1 or something like that, an empty net goal or something. So Kevin Fiala burned us the other day.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the same sort of price on Fiala, but the Sharks, they give it up, man. So I like Fiala and I like Kempe. Like, those are two chalky goal scorers. I think Quentin Byfield's interesting maybe to pick up a point. You're on those two guys as well?
Yep. Those are the two guys I'm on. And then San Jose, I'm going to Foley and Eklund. I think I was reading yesterday, or maybe it was even this morning. They're the first team in NHL history to start back-to-back seasons with five or more losses. Not the place you want to be, boys.
No, not at all. All right, man. Let's wrap with your favorite goal scorers. I'll throw out Granlund for the people again. Like, Zane, do we go back there? It's a tough spot, man. Really tough spot. Granlund, wow, they've moved his shot prop to 1.5. So the 2.5 plus money is it's not there. Velarde at 1.5. Listen, man, this guy's not shooting. I've been burned a couple times of taking the over 2.5, thinking that he'll get there. He's not shooting the puck, but 1.5 I can get behind. Again, it's really juiced at minus 195. I wouldn't take it as a single. It's not my favorite play, but he's still, playing up on that top line. So I would rather maybe just take the point. I mean, I can't suggest taking it because he's got 3 games with 0. And he's only cleared 1.5 once. So I'd probably stay away from it. Hundo agree. At least the Sharksinis are fire. That teal and black.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt.
I know. It feels like nobody should. Winnipeg just wins these games. Like, I know they have some. The 8-3, 6-3 stuff is not their jam. 6-0. Like, this is what they do. 2-1 win, 2-1 win, 3-2 win. Like, that's really what they do. And they keep the puck out of their net. So, like, they're doing it again. But what do you got for goal scorers?
All right, we're going Hintz, Johnson, Pasta, Zaka, Hughes, Meyer, Larkin, Kane, Reinhart, Kachuk, Panarin, Kreider, Kaprizov, Ek, Kachuk, Hagel, Kyrou, Neighbors, Matthews, Nylander, Svetch, Nekash, Kadri, Zari, McKinnon, Middlestat, Keller, Gunther, Connor, Ehlers, McCann, Beniers, Toffoli, Eklund, Kempe, Fiala. The 8-way maniac parlay goes as follows: Pasta, Hughes, Larkin, Reinhart, Kucherov, Matthews, McKinnon, Connor. The lock of the night to score is my man and yours, Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews. A shout out to EY for the Batherson and Kachuk call on Tuesday. Right on the money. What's a bad team? The New York Islanders. Okay, I gotta get out of here. Get the NFL betting show in 3 minutes. I got Dane freaking out, wondering where the link is to the show. So I'll roll through this one pretty quickly. Again, the article is going to be live over at ftnfantasy.com a little bit later on. Money line stuff that I'm on, the Dallas Stars on the money line. I like the New York Rangers on the money line as well. I think we'll see some goals between the Red Wings and the Devils. So I got the over 6.5 there. I think we'll see some goals in Utah as well with the goaltending issue between the hockey club and the Avalanche. So kind of have a lean to the over 6.5 there. And I am going to be the sucker and bet the Kings on the puck line tonight. 4 props: Lafreniere point, Sam Bennett 3 shots, Victor Hedman 3 shots, Matthew Nyes point at plus 110, Jake Neighbors at over 1.5 shots, minus 150. I got Timo Meyer for a point. Alex DeBrincat for a point. I'm interested in DeBrincat for 3 shots at minus 135. I like Dougie Hamilton for a point. We got Rupe Hintz for a point. Wyatt Johnson for 3 shots at minus 112. Elias Lindholm for our guy Zane at plus 105. Why not? We got to go back to that one. Next page, Sveshnikov, 3 shots, minus 165. A little bit juice. Think you could put him into a 2-leg parlay with Gensel. I'm going to roll that one out there. Shane Gossespear, 2 shots is minus 154. A point is plus 115. Shout out to Gossespear and Dougie Hamilton, 3-1 for a power play point. We got Ross Colton for 3 shots and for a point at minus 135. Got Dylan Guenther for 3 shots at minus 130 and a point at minus 110. Long shot bet here. Cale Makar plus 135 for 2 points. Brennan Montour minus 143. Best number I'm seeing for 3 shots. And minus 150 for Kevin Fiala for 3 shots as well. That'll do it, guys. I'll have the article live over at ftnfantasy.com. Appreciate you guys, all the support here. Absolutely love it. Drop the link here too. We can transition over there. Appreciate you, Zane. Yeah, we'll subscribe here to our fantasy YouTube page, and we'll get going in just a few moments. So from Eric Young, myself, Chris Meaney, let the winners be yours, and we will chat to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that like button. Tell a friend. Peace.